This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. Wow, this is a crazy thing to actually see. Now, for those that don't know what I'm referring to, a couple days ago, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's done a great job in her position, she released a bunch of bombshell documents a couple days ago that prove the Russia crap from Trump's first term. Yeah, it was all a fabrication, it was a hoax, it was fake, and we now know that this was not just one bad actor that pushed this. No. This was the top brass in the Obama administration. It's not just one or two people. It's all of them. They were all complicit. They were involved. They knew about this, and they knew it was BS. Yet they pushed it. So let's get into it. Americans will finally learn the truth about how in 2016, intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Donald Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermining our democratic republic. You know, it's a great start when the Director of National Intelligence is saying, yeah, this was a years-long coup against President Trump. Or I should say essentially, but guys, that's what this was. This wasn't just a mere hoax. This was effectively a years-long coup attempt against President Trump. And you look at what they actually found in these documents, it's bad. For months preceding the 2016 election, the intelligence community shared a consensus view. Russia lacked the intent and capability to hack U.S. elections. But weeks after President Trump's historic 2016 victory against Clinton, everything changed. And these are some of the snippets of these documents. Now, obviously, this isn't everything, but this kind of proves that before, I think it was December 9th, 2016, no one thought there was a real threat. Hell, as late as December 7th, they were saying, there's no real threat here. Just read some of these statements. We're working with the CIA on a PDB submission on the threat. The thrust of the analysis is that there is no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count through cyber means. August 31st. On September 9th, we agree with Russia probably is not and will not try to influence the election by using cyber means to manipulate a computer-enabled election infrastructure, which, for those that are saying, oh, that was never the theory. Go back in early 2017, late 2016, go back to what Democrats were saying. They were saying Russia was manipulating the votes, they were stealing the machines. That's what they were saying back then. I'm not kidding you. Go look it up. I think even Harris had a tweet from 2016 or 2017 where she was saying that. So yeah, this idea that they were never saying, oh, we never said that, bull. And the intelligence agencies were saying, there's no real threat here. As late as December 7th, they were saying, we assess that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks and election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome this year. So yeah, they were saying for months, and even after the election, they were saying, there's nothing here. There's no grand conspiracy. Yeah, they might say, yeah, Russia might have had bots on Facebook, but that's it. Do you really think that changed anything? No. This idea that Russia was manipulating the election, even the agencies before December 8th, I think it was, they were all saying behind the scenes, this is bullshit. There's nothing real here. There's nothing. There's no real hacks going on. There's nothing that's going to change the results of the election. And on December 8th, IC officials were preparing an assessment for the president's daily brief. And they found that Russia did not impact the recent U.S. election results. Before it could reach a president, it was magically pulled based on quote-unquote new guidance. This key intelligence assessment was never published. And this is proof right here. They said December 8th, Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results, blah, blah, blah. And they said a little bit later, based on some new guidance, we're going to push back publication of the PDB. It will not run tomorrow, and it is not likely to run until next week. Which is strange because Apparently it was done. Now, I cannot confirm this, but based on what I'm reading, this document is done. They're like, there's nothing here. Yeah, there might be bots on Facebook, and maybe they did something in July, but they didn't do anything that changed the election. Nothing happened. But out of nowhere, they were saying, oh, actually, yeah, we had to pull this document for no reason other than new guidance, which is crazy. The next day, top national security officials, including FBI Director James Comey, CIA Director John Brennan, and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, gathered at the Obama White House to discuss Russia. Obama directed the IC to create a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russian election meddling, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments released over the previous several months. And this is where things got very strange. Like, wait a minute. For the entire year, as late as December 8th, they were all saying there's no meddling here, there's no conspiracy, there's nothing here. But out of nowhere, President Obama made the IC redo the entire report and apparently make stuff up. I mean, this is crazy. Like, seriously, you're going to tell me with a straight face that for months, as late as December 8th, and remember, this is December 9th where this came out. December 9th, the day after, that's when Obama said, oh, redo the report. And basically told the agencies, you gotta find something bad here. You can't make this up. It's like, this is crazy. For months, they were finding nothing, and they knew about it. And the day before they were going to release it, they said, oh, we got to hold off on that for a little bit. Then Obama said, actually, you got to redo the entire report. And it gets worse because within days, actually within hours of this memo and them saying, yeah, redo the report, Obama officials went to the media and they pushed bullshit. They had these quote-unquote anonymous sources leaked classified information to the Washington Post and others, and they claimed that, yeah, Russia intervened to hack the election. And you think I'm kidding? Look at this. On December 9th, the day of this meeting, the IC had quote-unquote leaks to the Washington Post, and they said, though Russia has long conducted cyber spying on U.S. agencies, companies, and organizations, this presidential campaign marks the first time Russia has attempted through cyber means to interfere in, if not actively influence, the outcome of an election, the officials said. The CIA has concluded in a secret assessment that Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump win the presidency, rather than just to undermine confidence in the electoral system. Yeah, this is within hours of this secret meeting. There was this anonymous source that went to the Washington Post and said, yeah, President Trump, he won the election because of Russia. A couple days later, there was another leak to NBC News. U.S. intelligence officials now believe with a high level of confidence that Russian President Putin became personally involved in the covert Russian campaign to interfere in the U.S. presidential campaign, senior U.S. intelligence officials told NBC News. Huh? So 5 minutes ago, you were all saying there's nothing here, there's nothing of substance here, there's no grand conspiracy, but within a day, within hours of this meeting, there was a magical leak. What do you think happened here? And by some miracle, it gets even worse, as on January 6, 2017, just a couple weeks before President Trump took office, the Director of National Intelligence, Clapper, unveiled the Obama-directed assessment, a gross weaponization of intelligence that laid the groundwork for a years-long coup intended to subvert President Trump's entire presidency. And according to a whistleblower's emails shared with us today, we know Clapper and Brennan used the baseless, discredited Steele dossier as a source to push this false narrative in the intelligence assessment. This is bad. There's no other way to put it. This is a disaster. This was a coup attempt on President Trump in his first term. That's what they're trying to do here. They lost. And for months beforehand, they were saying, Russia's doing nothing, Russia's doing nothing. But after Trump won, out of nowhere, they found this new secret information the day before they were supposed to release their report. They're saying, oh, we found new information, and it turns out it was all bullshit. It was never real. The fact it took this long to release this stuff, it's insane. I mean, this is awful. This is proof that there was a grand conspiracy. The Russiagate crap was fake. It was all a hoax. And at some point, you have to do something with Comey and Brennan and Clapper and maybe even Obama, which that's never going to happen. But someone's got to go to prison for this. Enough of the bullshit. Someone's got to go to prison for this crap. This was a coup attempt. And I'm hoping Trump's admin does something, though I have, little faith in Pam Bondi. But, come on now. This is insane. Even Tulsi Gabbard is saying this was a coup attempt. She's a director of national intelligence, and she's saying, yeah, this was a coup attempt on President Trump. Before he took the oath of office, they were pushing bullshit, they were pushing fake news, and now, with documents, we can now prove that, yeah, it was all fake. None of it was ever real. I don't know what else they're going to find, because I guarantee you this isn't the end of the story. More than likely, we're going to see more documents the next couple of weeks that prove that this can only get worse. We'll see what happens, but the way Tulsi Gabbard is talking, and I know it's all talk, you got to do something, but Pam Bondi, if you're watching this by some miracle, do something. These documents prove that there was a grand conspiracy. Someone's got to go to prison. Like, this is not a laughing matter. I'm being dead serious. Someone's got to go to prison for this. This was a coup attempt. I don't see how it's anything else. How can you say one day before the release of the documents that or before the reports, that there's no collusion, there's no Russia crap, there's none of that. But then you delay the report, Obama comes out of nowhere and says, oh, quick, ram through this bullshit. And that's what happened the day of. That's when the leaks began. The day of. This is insane. So, if you're listening, Pam Bondi, arrest people. Someone's got to go to prison for this. I know Obama's not going to go to jail, which I would want that, because it's clear he did some real bad stuff. But at this point, at least go after Comey and Clapper and John Brennan. You got to go after somebody. You can't just say, oh, that's fine, we'll do nothing about this. No, someone's got to go to prison for this. This is too much. We got to start setting clear examples out of these people. Like, if you break the law, you're going to get punished. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.